Hey guys, what's up? Hitmarthroy here, and welcome back to Let's Play Pokemon Colosseum. In the last episode, we started our adventure and snagged our first Shadow Pokemon. So in this episode, we're going to get out of this horrible town, even though it's not that horrible. It should be no surprise to anybody that I chose Mr. True Brasso, because Quilava is my second favorite Pokemon of all time, so it was pretty clear I was going to go after it. Croconaut would have been my second choice, of course. I've never been a fan of the Chikorita family, so... Yep, Shadow Quilava. But first, we're going to get rid of that Grimer. I believe all the mystery troops do come with the same two normal Pokemon, so they all have a Grimer and a Spoink, if I recall correctly. Grimer will be taken down easily by a Confusion because it's weak against it. The Spoink can be taken down by a Bite from Umbreon because it's Psychic, so it's going to be weak to Dark, in addition to perhaps Return. I don't think Bite quite kills it. Since the Quilava is probably going to get it in most of his attacks, he has Shadow Rush, obviously, Smoke Screen, which he just showed, which lowers your accuracy, and I believe Flame Wheel and Leer, or something else. It might be Flame Wheel and Dig. I don't recall off the top of my head. But either way, let's go ahead and use Bite on Spoink and Return on Spoink. There's its Flame Wheel. I do not know what that noise is that's coming from apparently the kitchen. Sounds like somebody's tap dancing in there. Alright, so now we're down to just Quilava. Let's go ahead and use Secret Power again and Reflect. Generally that's what I do, is I only attack with one Pokemon. Attacking with two can be a big mistake, especially if you get a critical hit when you weren't planning for one. And don't think just because they're at low health doesn't mean that they won't use Shadow Rush and kill themselves with Recoil. They will do that. That's happened multiple times in the instances I've played this game. It does happen. Right now I'm just trying to inflict some kind of status effect and it doesn't seem to be happening. I don't want to use Helping Hand to boost its attack power, do I? Alright, let's give it a shot. Hopefully it won't be enough to kill it. I don't think it will. Oh, I used it on Espeon. It's very clear I'm not attacking with him. Alright, that might do it. Am I going to get a status? No, I'm not. Alright, I'm still going to try from there. So, I'll use Snatch for no real reason, and another Pokeball. Doesn't catch, I'll probably just keep throwing Pokeballs. It might use Shadow Rush and weaken itself a little bit more. I'm not going to use any more attacks though, because that would probably end in me killing it. If the Reflect wears off, I'll bring it back, but other than that, I'm not going to do anything else. Now, even though you do have 2 turns to work with, you can't just throw 2 Pokeballs in the same turn. It'll say something like, the Snag Machine is still recharging, or something to that effect. The point is, you can't throw 2 Pokeballs in the same turn. It's got to be 1 per turn. That's why I didn't do that. But alright, we got Quilava. Very good. So it's a Pokemon that we turned into a fighting machine by artificially closing the door to its heart. They don't officially call it a Shadow Pokemon for a little while, but that's what it is. So he runs off along with the other 2. You will be able to catch the other 2 later on in the game, but it's much later, so... If you're going to use one of those 3 for your team, you need to decide which one. For right now, I'm going to heal, and we're actually going to go to the pre-gym. I'm going to try to get Umbreon and Espeon a little more leveled up, and also start working on the heart gauge for Quilava, which I'll explain that when we get there. But first, I'm going to save. Another thing is, if you do make a Shadow Pokemon faint by accident, in other words, you don't get the chance to capture it, there is a chance to capture every single Shadow Pokemon multiple times, so don't think by not being able to capture it that it's just an automatic, oh, well, too bad for me. I'm going to go ahead and put, well, no, I don't need to put Makuhita up for really anything right now, so I'll just save. I'm not going to work on Makuhita's heart gauge. I'm only going to work on the heart gauges for the Pokemon that I'm going to have for my team. Because one, there's, like, once I explain it once, there's no reason to explain it again. They're all pretty much the same thing, other than some take longer than others. And secondly, showing those on screen is just a gigantic trial. And so whenever I get to the point of where I can purify the Shadow Pokemon, I'll just do that off screen. Because it's just going to be me probably going to Mount Battle and just using Shadow Pokemon. Shadow Pokemon can't gain levels. They gain them all the experience that they get from them whenever they get purified, so we're gonna have a set of battles here, indeed. The video hopefully won't be too long, because I'm gonna be fighting 4 in a row here. So we're gonna see. If I have to speed it up, I will. If not, well then whatever. We'll just see how it goes. And if that's the case, the commentary is going to be cut out and I'll replace it with a song or something. Regardless, I'm going to keep talking like we are going to be showing these all, because why the heck not? So, the first guy we have is a Grass Trainer, so he has Skunkern and Hoppip. So if you chose Croconaw, you might not want to stick him in this battle, just for the fact that if they do use a Grass type move like Absorb, you'll have to watch out for it. Alright, now I get to go over what the Shadow Pokemon are actually like. You'll notice that instead of the experience bar, Quilava has that purple bar under him, and what that is the heart gauge. You can also check that in the summary. The heart gauge is basically the ability of when you can purify Pokemon, when it's completely empty, and how many moves that Quilava is able to use. So you'll notice right now, all it has is Shadow Rush. It can't use anything else. Once the bars start going down, once it drops that first bar, he'll get another move, which I believe will be a Smoke Screen attack. And then more and more that will be the case. You also can't see what his nature is. So the ways to get that bar to drop is by just having them being thrown out into battle. Another one is having them around in your party and just walking around. And the final one is having them, well, there's also using herbs or some kind of thing that's later on in the game, but I never used it. And the final one is calling them out of their hyper mode state, which we'll probably see in one of these battles whenever it shows up. It may be a little while, it's kind of random. It's usually more likely whenever their heart gauge is higher up, but it's still completely possible when it's near empty as well. Another thing worth mentioning also is that once the heart gauge drops all the way, you have to actually go and purify it, which we'll be able to do later. So his heart gauge will be dropped all the way down to next to nothing, but I still won't be able to make him, or, you know, make him a real Pokemon as opposed to a Shadow one until I get to that point, so I'll probably still use him in battles to get an edge over, you know, any type advantage. And also, like I said, they gain experience from any battles that they were in once they get purified, so he'll gain his levels that he was supposed to during that once I purify him. So she is a water type user, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful with her because she's going to have stuff that's good against my Quilava, Merlyn and Surskit. If I recall, her Meryl likes to boost its defense, and its Surskit likes to boost its speed, if I recall. So I'm going to try taking out the Meryl as quickly as I can here. Because the Meryl's more annoying, in my opinion. The Surskit you can take out fairly quickly, but if the Meryl keeps raising its defense, it will be here for a while. Fortunately, Espeon and Quilava are both pretty fast. Much faster than these two are, so. And not just because their levels are higher either, they're just naturally faster. Maybe not naturally faster than that Surskit by much, but definitely faster than the Meryl is. Of course, now that it's used agility to raise its speed sharply, that may not be the case anymore. I guess we'll find out. Nope. Surskit goes first, but that's fine. once again, since I'm assuming, like I said last video, that if you're playing this game, you at least know the basics of Pokemon. Your speed depends on if you go first or not. And if you're alternating where, like, player 1's Pokemon goes first, but then player 2's goes first the next one, that means your speeds are equal. I'm actually still very surprised Quilava has not gone into Hyper Mode yet. Going into Hyper Mode will use up your turn, and also calling them out will use up your turn, so part of me is glad he doesn't, part of me is glad, or part of me wishes he did, because whenever you call him out of it, his heart gauge will drop by quite a bit, so... But either way, it very well might show up in the next 2 battles. I had a test recording of the first hour of this game just to see how it would go, and the first 2 battles, my Quilava never went into Hyper Mode, and then in the last 2, he went into Hyper Mode every single time I tried to have him attack. So this is a rich boy, and he uses ground types. He has a Trapinch and a Swinub, if I remember correctly. I guess we'll find out. Yes, he does! Yay, I can still remember things from a couple days ago. I guess I'll remove the Trapinch first. Just for the sake of removing it. If you're wondering why I'm using Espeon in these fights and not Umbreon, it's because Espeon starts at a lower level, so I'm just trying to catch her up. Ah, there we go, there's a Hyper Mode. I don't know why he used Odor Sleuth, because that just, I think if I remember correctly, it enables you to use moves against a Pokemon that it would normally not work against. So, like, if you use that on a Ghost type, you could use normal moves against it. So I'm not really sure why he did that. Right now I have another reason to get rid of that stupid Sand Tune. No, we're not going to do that. Now, there is a problem with Hyper Mode because it does increase your critical hit ratio, which makes it sound like, oh, well, then why in the world would you not want Hyper Mode to be there? Well, reason would be... not summary. Well, I thought you could shift mount, but I think you can't shift out a Pokemon if it's in Hyper Mode. I know for a fact it won't take items. Like, if I try to use a potion on it right now, it'd say it's in Hyper Mode, it won't take an item. So that's the disadvantage to having it. So I'd recommend, if they go into Hyper Mode, just immediately call them out of it. It's worth sacrificing a turn for. And if you need to heal them, then use up 1 turn to get the Shadow Pokemon to come back out of it, and then use your Umbreon or Espeon to heal with an item next turn, or either way. But having them not take an item can actually put you at a pretty bad disadvantage in some cases. This is why I prefer to take out the Trapinch first, just because the Swinub usually just does this for the most part. I'm not sure why, but he does. She does. That's she. I usually just refer to the Pokemon as he, because I don't pay attention to the genders. There is one battle in the game where gender is actually quite important, and that's a battle where there's a boss that really enjoys using Attract. And hopefully I'll get lucky like I did with my last team that I had, where it was 3 male and 3 female, so it worked out really well. Where Attract, you know, if I had problems with Attract, I could just switch out for one of my females and it wouldn't be a problem anymore. Regardless, we have one more battle to fight. And that is against, I'm not sure if she's called a rich girl, it might be Lady. But either way, she uses rock type. She has a Geodude and a Rhyhorn? I think. Yeah, Rhyhorn. Okay. This is a great battle to have Espeon in, by the way, because using Confusion on that Geodude will take it out in 1 hit. Because Geodude has very, very, very bad special defense. So I'm going to use Shadow Rush on Rhyhorn and Confusion on Geodude. The Geodude primarily will just use Defense Curl the entire match, so if you want to keep him alive and focus on the Rhyhorn, that works too. The Rhyhorn usually does more offensive stuff anyway. But I just prefer to take the Geodude out of it, so I don't have to deal with it. Rock Tomb, that's not good, especially... okay. I figured it was going to go after Quilava, because that would have been super effective. It's not worth it, really. I was thinking about lowering his accuracy, but the battle's not going to last long enough for that to matter. And I'm not capturing a Shadow Pokemon here, otherwise I would consider it, but I'm not going to. So he lowered my speed, but it's not low enough for him to go before, you know, Espeon. It made Quilava go first, that's why he went first that round, but still didn't matter. And I'm surprised, because usually that fourth battle doesn't go that smoothly, so I'm glad it went pretty easy. So I'm actually got a little bit of time left. I didn't think that would happen in the test recording. I did not have enough time. I went overtime, so I'm glad that didn't happen. Now you might be thinking, okay, well I'm going to battle Justy right now. No, not quite. She comes up and gives you the white herb, which is a hold item that whenever one of your stats is lowered, it will bring it back up. And she also will challenge you once you have a team of 6, so you can come back whenever you've caught more Shadow Pokemon. But yeah, the white herb is fairly useful, so if somebody used Smoke Screen on your Pokemon and it lowered their accuracy, the white herb would bring it back. So it's a fairly decent hold item. I'll be sure to put it on probably Espeon. Whichever of the 3 that you caught, whether it's Quilava, Croconaut, or Bayleaf, they come with a hold item that will increase fire, water, and grass-type moves. So in Quilava's case, he has a charcoal. Items, give. Now keep in mind, Pokemon can't use man-made items, so giving him a super potion will not work. If he had a berry, that would work, but other stuff will not. Is there anything else I could give the rest of my team? I don't think so. No, no berries. Okay. One more thing. Yeah, we're going to keep Espeon out there for now. I'll switch back to Umbreon. I'm going to try to keep their levels fairly balanced, so... But like I said, Espeon automatically starts the game 1 level lower, so that's why. So now there's really no reason to be in this town for right now. So we're going to go to the construction lot. Now, they actually mentioned going to Pyrite Town, and that's where we're going next. Really, I don't know why this was put here. I guess it's because they wanted to have a spot where they had to put it in, because it is important later. But they really could have thought of a better transition than this. I don't even know if you need to talk to these guys. I always just do. But yeah, this place will be important later. But as for right now, it's just a small little stop. There'll be something probably next video that we'll go through. But we're just gonna go ahead and head to Pyrite Town because there's really nothing else to do. We're gonna be spending a lot of time here. Johnson, the incompetent police officer. There's only 2 police officers in this entire town, and it's like known for being a town of thugs, and there's only 2 police officers. The incompetent one right there, and the chief, who's usually busy doing something else, so he doesn't have time to deal with things like this. You can talk to Kane, who we talked to a second ago if you want. It's fortune telling right there, which is kind of telling you where to go. Doesn't really matter. I never use it. This is the police office. So you can go in here and talk to the chief and Johnson. And to travelers, regardless what he says, he just recommends you leave the town because it's descended into chaos. You can also go over here and see that it's these 2 guys again. So they're hiding here because they messed up in trying to beat us, so they turned themselves in for stealing the truck. There's also another guy right here, but I'm not going to talk to him because I really don't care about him. You'll notice there's a save point right there as well. That's just a regular house. Right here's the shop. They do not sell Pokeballs there either. We'll get into that in a second. Right here is the hotel. You can spend $100 in there, and that will heal up all your Pokemon. But you could always just leave and go to the town we were just in and just heal for free. Either one. But before you go into here, just a personal note, this is here where she was kidnapped, your partner. But I think, well, no, we have time for 1 battle. But all these guys will have Shadow Pokemon, so you are going to have to be very careful in not killing them. So I'm going to save before we do that in the Sheriff's office. And I'll probably just end up, on the next video, end up cutting quite a bit and just getting to the point of whenever one shows up, whenever I'm fighting one, if it's a team of 2, I'll show the battle, and if it's a team of 3 or higher, I'll eliminate the other Pokemon and then just cut to the point where the Shadow Pokemon is the only one left standing and just work from there. But I can go ahead and show off the first battle, because we have enough time for that, at least. So she mentions that your partner's a Wallflower, and she's only teasing out of boredom. And so now she chooses to fight you. Some of the people in the battle circle or duel square or whatever you want to call it, they will like let you choose between battling yes or no. But some of them, when you talk to them, they'll just immediately be like, "All right, let's battle." So make sure you heal and save. You know, heal and or save. Just, you know, depending on which one you need to do. And you can tell right here she doesn't have a Shadow Pokemon, so you don't have to worry about it. But make a personal note: if you're gonna go for all the Shadow Pokemon, you're gonna try to avoid going back and catching, or having to try to recatch something. Then you're gonna have to be saving pretty much after every single battle, which is what I will be doing. Like if I mess up, but I'm still gonna do that just in case. So I figured it'd be easier to just cut it and retry. But either way, this is another very easy battle. Confusion will take out the Zubats. Pretty much anything will take out the Golden. So yeah, Espeon's your best bet for beating either one of those guys. And there you have it. So anyway, next time on Let's Play Pokemon Colosseum, we'll be probably challenging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another guy back here. 6, you can kind of see him. He's a little obscured by there he is. We'll be battling those 6 trainers and catching their Shadow Pokemon, which will take quite a bit of time. Which means I'm probably going to be done recording for at least a little while, because I got work in about 45 minutes, give or take. So, anyway, I will see you in the next episode. Take care, y'all.